Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Mixed Media Monday. I'm Ophelia, and thank you guys so much for joining us. Um, Today's challenge is all about making list, and what I thought would be a neat idea is for us to kind of write things down, not necessarily to set intentions, but that's what my page is going to be about. Yours and this challenge can be, list making for virtually anything. And I'll tell you what inspired this whole idea. Back on Instagram, I think it was, I found a prompt that said 18 things in 2018. So I created this page to do for the prompt. And I like it because then I can kind of refer back to it and refer back to it just to keep myself on track. However, I've noticed that it's not really where I want to be, or it's not necessarily what it is that's I have honestly set for myself. So, for instance, one of them says more home cooked meals. By whom? Not I. But anywho, so it's stuff like that that I kind of want to get rid of and redo the list to keep myself a little more centered and a little more grounded. So that is why today I am asking you to join me in just creating a list of things to do to set our intentions or to keep us grounded. A few of the supplies that I'm going to use today are some Lukas watercolor paints, and this in store, you may notice, just literally comes with a top row and a bottom row. But I've kind of tricked mine out a little bit and inserted or made a middle row where I've added just some other colors. And if that wasn't enough, I've also added, I've got a second palette, and this usually stays on my desk at home. Both of them sit like this at my workspace. And the second palette has just some of the other colors around the edges that I like to use, and I feel as though they work very well together. You can use any of the watercolors that you have, because I thought it would be pretty neat today to kind of keep this simple. So I've got some watercolors here. I've got, I want to use some ink and this is the ink. This is the nib. So I want to use some ink and a nib for journaling. I've also brought along, of course, I don't think there's an episode that can be complete without a jumbo jet black pencil, but I kind of wanted to show you what my pencil looks like, because maybe you guys don't know, but I'm going to share a little secret with you. I've been on a no-buy, and I started my no-buy back in January 1st. And so how great is it to use up your supplies without having to constantly have 54 backups? So the deal with me is I cannot buy another new supply until I use something up. So look at my little pencil here that I've been using, and I think maybe I can make it into a necklace. Okay, I'm distracted. But anywho, I'm going to be using my jumbo jet pencil and some water in a spray bottle. I've also brought along some, what are these called? SoHo colored pencils that I may use on the page, some markers that I want to use, and then a couple of episodes ago we did the jelly printing, and I want to incorporate some of those into this page as well. So let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sprayer and just kind of spray down my watercolors, because I want to go ahead and activate them, as this set, literally, I've squeezed out the pan. I squeezed out the tube watercolors into the pan, and I've had this set for maybe 8 years or so. And as I use one up, I just squeeze more into the pan. So those have been dry. But what I also want to do is spray down my paper here in my sketchbook, because I want the colors to just kind of mix and mingle and do their own thing. So I'm going to give my page a pretty generous spray of water, and I've got my brush here, and I'm going to use a pretty big, this one is a size 14, and let's just go ahead and start playing around with color. What I like about these watercolors is that, I just feel like, one, I get a variety of colors, but then also I just feel that, I don't know, anything that I wish to do or wish to express, I can do it with this set of colors. I like the price, I like the colors, they're just very vibrant, and there's a couple of them that are like my favorite, but I always find that this one stays on my desk and I just kind of use it the most. So, people always ask me like, hey, what's your favorite watercolors? And I just go, I honestly don't think I've ever met one that I just don't like, but I usually find that I'm reaching for these a whole lot more. So I'm just going to play around with some reds and yellows because that's where I always get stuck. But then let's go ahead and just add a couple more colors down here. Okay, I like the way that everything kind of moved, and you probably noticed at the very end I kind of splattered it, and that's cool, of course, since the page is wet, it's going to bleed out. But I'm going to dry this up, and I'll be right back. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do, and now that this is all dried up, instead of using my usual matte medium to kind of glue things down, I just brought along a glue stick today, and just a regular glue stick, but I like that this one's kind of purple to show me where I've glued down, and because I don't necessarily want to wait for matte medium to dry, and some of these things, like I found this piece of paper, and I just printed it on my printer at home, and sometimes if you hit it with matte medium or another wet medium, it will make the ink run. So a glue stick just kind of helps me get around that one. And since I am now done with adding any more wet things like acrylic or anything over top of that, the glue stick will work fine. So I'm just going to kind of audition things around. And since I know that this is going to be a list, what I am going to do is take some of those printed papers that we made. Let's put glue stick down. And I'm thinking I will use maybe even this paper because I want to have my list numbered. So I will maybe chop this up a little bit to, oh, this will probably work right here. I'm going to chop this up to use to kind of number along where I want my list to be. So I think I'm going to number my list. And then, let's see what else. I don't know. We'll just keep working, and as I'm working, I will maybe figure out some design ideas because I just know that right now I want to glue this guy down here. So I will get my glue stick and this is so awkward. Not as fun as matte medium, is it? Nope, not as fun. And I think I'm just going to put this guy right up here. And then, I don't know, I'm kind of liking this. If it says a different way, let's make it a different. Oh, decisions. Just do it. Just do it. I still don't know where it's going to go. Um, clearly not upside down, but here we go. Let's just do it. One thing I find is that when I'm working with watercolors, especially on a page, and I'm trying my best to keep it simple, I end up overthinking things and like will psych myself out in my head, and then it's like, oh gosh, the whole page is ruined, so I can't even do it. Or I will work the watercolor so much that it just all becomes mud. And I'm going to ask you guys to not do what I do and just relax with your materials, think of your list, and let's just have a little bit of fun as we do it. So I've got these two guys glued down. I am thinking I'm going to use my jumbo jet pencil, and what I'm going to do is kind of come around the edge of these. This is where glasses would be useful, me, but can't wear them because they bother you. Too bad I can't see anything. But I'm just going to go around the edges of this just to kind of, what's like grunge them up a little bit. And the beautiful part is, since if I make a mistake with something or I feel like I've over outlined something, I can always come back with, I've got this Marie's just soft eraser. And this guy is quickly becoming my favorite to just get rid of mistakes that I make. So, I'm also going to, is my head in the way? With my tarantula hair. Thanks, me. Now you laugh, but you wouldn't tell me. This is interesting. This is interesting. Okay, I think this is going to do it for my list. Basically, I've just kind of things that I know I want to focus on to keep myself centered. Yours could be your legit grocery list or a list daily of things that you want to accomplish. So you could set up 3 or 4 lists on one page. What's most important is just getting your fingers dirty with your supplies. Mine just like I know in my head, and that's the one thing that keeps me grounded is my freedom account, or like that's my number one. It's a bank account that I have, and when it gets to a magic number, um, that's when I know that things are gonna be swell. I don't know another word to put it. But so what literally keeps me grounded, or when I feel as though I'm off centered, I think about my freedom account. If do I really need those shoes? Well, if it goes against my freedom account, then no, I don't really need them. So this list is going to be like a reminder, and maybe I will scan it and kind of hang it in my studio just to kind of keep watch between what I wrote in this one and what I wrote here, just to kind of have a reminder of things that I need to do to make myself grow and to be more centered and focused. So I invite you guys to play along. If you do play along, we would love for you to um, tag at Jerry's Artorama on Instagram as well as at Ophelia's Art Studio. And if you guys have any suggestions for challenges that we should do, leave them in the comments below. You just never know if we'll pick yours or take a spin on one of yours. But thank you guys so much for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye. Whew, made it. I get to go to the bathroom. I get to go to the bathroom. I get to go to the bathroom. She made me hold it the whole. She made me hold it the whole 4 hours.